Alright, listen. So Joey's gonna let me do the intro because unlike him, if you followed on Twitter or Instagram, you know I had absolutely no desire to see this movie. I literally, I thought it was gonna be trash. And I am still probably gonna trash it some, but I got to say, man, this is just, like, this movie was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Or a lot more than I should have. It reminded me a lot of Aquaman in that respect, honestly.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to talk about DC's latest, Black Adam, right now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Small Couch Reviews. We do not review small couches. It's your boy, Sam.
It's your boy, Jovi.
And yes, as we said, we are going to talk about Black Adam. We talk about a lot of movies on this channel, so if you guys are into that, please go ahead, click that little subscribe button and the bell.
Ding.
That way you always know when we upload something. We like to have a good time. We talk about all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so DC's latest, Black Adam. This movie was supposed to come... I think it was first announced 15 years ago. Like, before the 2010s started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, we got the actual, casting news, I think maybe 6 years ago. It was in development.
No.
Yeah, it was
been
in what's
development
called...
for a long time.
Yeah, it's been development hell for a minute. And yeah, now it came out. It stars Dwayne The Rock Johnson as the titular character, Black Adam. And I just gotta say, when I saw him, I was like, man, he looks a lot older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one. I was like, why does he look? Why does he look like that?
Yeah. I mean, when he was first cast, I was like, when they first said he was joining DC, I said, yeah, he's gonna be Black Adam. He looked just like him.
Yeah.
I mean, he still does, but it's just, I don't know, something I noticed. Anyway, this movie is... Alright, let's talk about what it's about first before I get into everything I like.
Yeah.
So, Black Adam, he's basically what's called a anti-hero. Not really that in this sense. I mean, I think an anti-hero is more so someone who's well, actually, no, I guess he is. So an anti-hero is someone who's ultimate, they're not doing anything for the heroics of it.
Yeah.
They're just doing what they want to do, and the result ends up being heroic.
Yes.
Black Adam, actually, he wants to save people. He just goes about it in an incredibly violent way.
Love it.
Yeah, man. So, if you've seen Shazam, they mentioned that the Council of Wizards, the people who gave Shazam his powers, they had another champion and they chose poorly. That champion was Black Adam, just as it is in the comic books. He has all the same powers as Shazam: super strength, super speed, lightning, all that stuff. The thing is, he is very old. He is from a nation called Kahndaq that existed 5,000 years ago. And that is when he first got his power. He banished the oppressors, and he considers it his home, and it's his responsibility to protect it. Right. In this movie, after he got his powers, he was laid dormant for 5,000 years. And Kahndaq has seen, they've gone from like a king harassing them to a street gang harassing them called Interpol. Or Intergang, I'm sorry.
Intergang, yeah.
Yeah, Intergang.
Very
famous from Superman in the DC Comics. Yeah, and they're basically, they're like martial law. They're there. And they are looking for a MacGuffin that's going to supposedly give them all types of power, and they're looking for it. Black Adam comes out. And he decides, okay, well, you know what? I gotta kill you guys now. And that, honestly, is the entire movie. Yep. He comes out, he sees Kahndaq is under attack, and he goes about killing the people attacking it.
That's it.
While he does this, he does it in a very violent way, so it attracts the attention of Amanda Waller, who does not send her Suicide Squad for some reason. She asks superheroes for help, which... in this universe, I guess Amanda Waller's cool with superheroes.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that seems super strange. But the superheroes she asks for help are the JSA.
I got jokes for days, but that would be a spoiler, so
yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
They got this JSA incarnation. It has Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher. And if you don't know who those are, they're actually pretty cool heroes. You should look them up. Yeah. Hawkman is basically a hawk. He himself gets reincarnated a bunch. They didn't really specify in this movie if he's that version.
I don't at all.
Yeah. Dr. Fate, I mean, he's older than Doctor Strange, but Doctor Strange is more popular now, so he's basically Doctor Strange, but a lot stronger.
Right. Yeah.
And then Cyclone, basically, she's an airbender. She controls the wind. And then Atom Smasher is
cool as shit.
Yeah, Atom Smasher is basically Ant-Man, except he can only grow bigger. That's it. That's his power. Right. So those four go to Kahndaq to stop Black Adam, who was just wreaking havoc there because, like, again, they're bad people, but he's murdering people, and there's a lot of, like, I guess, property damage, and they're like, eventually you're going to hurt somebody, so we need to rein you in.
Yeah.
So a good part of the movie is Black Adam killing Interpol, then the JSA trying to stop him and him fighting them, and then there's the third act that we'll talk about later that was kind of disappointing. But yeah, I've already mentioned it. What I liked about this movie so much.
Yeah.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is Black Adam. Now, there are a lot of people, and I get this argument. There are people who say when they see The Rock act, it's just him. Mm-hmm. They don't see the character. And, I mean, I kind of get that here, too, but it works for this one.
The way I say, he's not going to do anything that doesn't work for him.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't do those characters anymore.
Yeah, man. He is Black Adam, or as they call him, Adam in this movie. The dude, like, I mean, he kind of has a Drax thing going on where he takes things, like, literally, because, he's a fish out of water in this movie.
5,000 years.
Yeah, so, like, when the man, like, goes through doors, he doesn't use doors, he just flies through walls, and someone was like, oh, so you don't use doors? And he was like, of course I do. That's how we got through stuff or whatever, right?
That's how we got into rooms.
Yeah, that's how we got into rooms. I was like, I was making a joke, and he was like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I mean, that kind of stuff happened. So just him being Black Adam, the physique and the look was great for me. When he was killing, when he first comes out, oh my gosh. You've seen the trailer where, people are shooting at him. He's like, your magic's weak. That's only the tip of the iceberg.
When I was watching, I was like, hold on. You know how I feel about trailers.
Yeah.
And they ruin everything.
That's why I thought this movie was going to be so bad. I was like, I've seen everything that's going to happen.
They did not show us everything.
Yeah, like,
you would think, like you say, like, oh, I know the story. You're done. It's like, no. Those scenes that you see are very extended.
Yeah, they're very extended scenes. Yeah. Bro, there's actually, like, I mean, the first person he kills, like, we were with Joey's child. I actually looked over. I was like, yo, are you going to be okay? Because there's some kills in this movie that do not look like they belong PG-13.
Very much so. Right? You're like,
Yeah.
I was like, how did they get away with this?
Yeah,
because it's killing.
Yeah.
You don't see killing.
In comic book movies, you don't. I think this is So, I mean, I guess, that goes to show all those, like, Morbius and Carnage and all that stuff. They could have done more than they could have done more with that.
Can we not talk about?
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying. But yeah, man, I mean, you see him electrocute people. He fries people to skeletons. He picked up one dude, grabbed him by the leg, and you literally see him smash him against a rock.
Yeah.
Like he's like a hammer. He smashes this dude.
He
picks up somebody.
Arm.
Yeah. He has somebody's arm in his hand and drops it. He picked up someone through him and literally watched the dude come down and splat. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so amazing to see. The action in this movie was great. Save for the very first time he fights Hawkman. The CGI, I was like, I saw it. I was like, okay. But it was only the first time they fought. Yeah. After that, it didn't happen again.
For some reason, and this is all speculation, of course, and we talk about this in other movies, that looked like it just wasn't finished or was put in really late.
Yeah.
Because I said the same exact thing in my head. I was like, hold on. Why does that look like that? And then I'm watching the rest of the movie, I'm like, this looks good.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, here we go. In my head, I'm just like, this is all... It's a 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man.
No, but then afterwards, I was like, so this is probably really, really late. They were like, they had it, but they didn't have the right shot. And they're like, hey, can you make this? And they're like, yeah, it's not going to look like the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's put it in because we need it.
Yeah.
We needed that first fight.
Yeah, they needed it. So, I mean, you can forgive that. Yeah, man, you see him. When when you think of Shazam, which I know I loved a lot more than Jovi did, and he probably liked this more than I did, but like when you think of it, it's just like, yo, this is all the stuff Shazam could do. Like, oh my gosh, it was amazing, man. Outside of that, I mean, the action that's what you came here for. Let's get, like, you came for to see The Rock beat up people in a superhero movie. If you came for a good story, unfortunately, you're not going to find it here. I'm going to get that out the way. But I don't want to go negative just yet. I also really liked the Justice Society. See, so it's a duality here because I liked seeing them, but this movie makes us believe that we have known them already. We don't know none of these people. We don't know any of them. But seeing them come to fight Black Adam was really cool. You see, I mean, all of them got to display their powers. I think Atom Smasher and Cyclone were used a lot more sparingly. They are the two youngest. I mean, they gotta look like teenagers, honestly.
Yeah, they're super young.
They're like really young. And I think they're supposed to be the comic relief, though it didn't really land for me.
They weren't the comic relief. I feel like everybody else making jokes.
Everyone else was.
And Mo.
Yeah.
He was funny. Whatever that actor's name is. I apologize to you, sir.
Oh, yeah. The guy who plays Mo.
He's
from Mo. Yeah. Yeah, man. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. So, but I mean, Hawkman and Dr. Fate, loved them.
But that's another two, like, you're like, they were dropped in the movie. It made it seem like you knew. If we know... But if anybody's going to see
casual
this,
fans won't know this.
You have no idea. You've never seen them. You've never read about them. Even animated wise, you'd be like, okay, I've seen maybe Dr. Fu one time in an animated movie. And it's like, so for people that don't watch any of that,
you're not going to know. You're not going to understand it.
And I feel like they did that with Suicide Squad, too.
That's exactly what I was getting to. And this is the problem. This is the biggest problem with this movie. Like, for the biggest problem is, if it came out 15 years ago, I think people would have said this movie, it would be in people's minds like a spectacle.
Oh, yeah.
If it came out when it was supposed to. But, like, the actual biggest problem with this movie, it falls into so many traps that DC movies fall into. Like, just like with the Suicide Squad. The first one, not the great second one, but the first one. Yeah. Where they just brought in a bunch of characters that are cool, and then you had them fighting, like, the Power Ranger putties, man. Like, that's all they did. Yeah. This movie has, like... This is why, when I said I was watching it, I was like, man, this is actually something that could be cool.
Yeah.
I need, like, this movie, honestly, I mean, it was 2 hours. It should have been probably 3. Or longer. There's so many, like, story parts that just aren't given enough time to breathe. So, JSA, for example, they just show... Black Adam, after he kills people the first time, they just show up. They basically are like, oh, we gotta stop that guy. And then Hawkman is basically the leader, and he's like, all right, I'm going to bring Fate, I'm going to bring Cyclone, and I'm going to bring Atom Smasher. Yeah. And that 5-minute section of him telling you who he's going to bring, that's the only origin or background you get for these characters. They deserve, like, you know, like a whole movie to themselves so we can flesh everybody out. Because Dr. Fate and Hawkman have a history that you can tell is very special.
Yes.
But...
Yes, they're friends.
Telling me is not as good as showing me. Yeah. So Dr. Fate, not to spoil, I mean, he has a big moment at the end, and I guess it's it's cool to see, and it's big and it's emotional, but it's like I feel like I would appreciate this more if I saw the relationship between you guys develop, because like now it's just I'm just seeing two dudes. Like I don't really care.
Yeah. Little one-liner that you're just like, oh, well, I would have loved to have seen when you did that.
Yeah, exactly. You know? That also goes, I mean, even with Black Adam himself. The first part of this movie, like this movie, it goes so fast. They just go through stuff, so much exposition. The first part of this movie shows him getting his powers 5,000 years ago. But they just rush through it. They're like, hey, all right, there was this king. He did this thing. He was bad. A hero had to rise. A hero found the power. A hero went and killed him. And it's like, you guys could have literally taken, like in Man of Steel, which I know a lot of people hate. But you remember how Krypton was in that? Krypton was like the first 30 minutes.
Man of Steel is, and I know we're talking about Black Adam, but Man of Steel, if you don't like film, you can't appreciate that. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people because they were so used to Marvel movies.
Yeah, no.
And then you got Man of Steel, and it was like, this is a movie.
Well, yeah, I think I hate what happened after that, but we'll talk about that later. That's my like it retroactively is bad because of what happened after. But in this one, yeah, man. So Black Adam, like you could have, if they had taken like 30 minutes and just shown his backstory,
yeah,
that would have been great. Then, show him get, like, locked away or whatever happened to him. And then, shoot 5,000 years in the future and be like, now our land is still oppressed. And then he comes back. You know what I'm saying? But they go through that entire thing. Then this voiceover is, by the way, I know he's a child actor. The child who's doing the narration is very bad. He's very bad at narrating, and he's very bad acting in the movie. He's probably the biggest weakness. Like, him and his stupid skateboard.
Yeah, I was anticipating something more happening with his character.
Yeah.
Because then now I feel like he was unnecessary.
Yeah, man. But then, it shoots there. Yeah. Then they're talking about how Intergang is just in the city. And again, they're telling you without really showing you. You see they're kind of jerks, but you don't get, like, why do you hate these people? Like, there's not, like, why does people of Kahndaq hate them so much? Mm-hmm. And then, at the end of the movie, all of a sudden the people of Kahndaq are inspired to stand against them. And it's like, it's a lot of traps, a lot of Zack Snyder traps, where it's just like, things happen, right, and you expect us to just accept them because it's like you expect us to understand, yeah, oh, okay, well, obviously, they're oppressors. You hate your oppressors. But, I mean, if you just drop me into something and you tell me these are the oppressors and these are the people who are being oppressed, it's like, well, I mean, you told me, you didn't show me, so when a revolution or something happens, it's not going to hit as hard.
Yeah, you don't feel it.
So that's the thing. That's the big criticism with this movie. There's so much stuff happening that is told, but is not shown. And all the stuff that is told, I'm like, yo, that is so cool. Like, I mean, Kahndaq. We could go on like Kahndaq. It's been under siege for 27 years, and when the JSA arrived, the citizens are like, well, wait a minute. Black Adam is actually helping us, and like, you're not.
Like, who are you?
That in itself is a compelling movie. That could have been the whole movie. Seriously, that's a compelling story to tell. Like, do you have the right to go to this country and tell them what to do? And Black Adam, he basically says, yeah, it's not your country, not your rules. But, they just breeze through that to get to, I mean, admittedly a great action scene, but the next action scene. And then I mean and then the villain in this movie, I'm gonna hate him. He's evil for being evil. He's literally the villain from Ant-Man. Like, you don't understand. Like, he's someone who ultimately ends up like betraying one of the main characters.
But then you get his, you eventually find out why he's doing what he's doing.
But it's a weak reason.
Yeah.
And when you find out, it's like after he had been doing all this stuff, and you're like, bruh, like, again, you don't see his relationship with the person he betrays, so it's like, okay, I guess that just happened.
A lot of that, I mean, you're hitting it on the head. It's like a lot of, how am I supposed to care if I don't understand the complexity of your relationship?
Exactly. That's the thing.
It's like every single character, every single back and forth, every single group.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't get it. And even with the people, like, I don't really understand how much you guys are suffering.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, again, they're just telling us it's frustrating. It's frustrating because you're like, this would be really cool if I could see it. And honestly, if they had shown it, if there was, I bet you the 3-hour cut of this movie is so much better. Like, it's astronomically better.
A lot more dialogue, a lot more story building.
Yeah, because it's like every conversation is just exposition to catch you up with stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest weakness with this movie, man. It's just, it's not a good enough story or a good enough plot to justify its existence. It ends with a giant skybeam. I'm going to spoil that. I mean, that we've seen 1,000 times before. But honestly, if you were worried that it was just if you were worried that you were just going to get an action movie you've seen 1,000 times before, I can confirm you're not getting that exactly, because the action you have never seen.
Oh, no.
Like, you have not seen somebody be this violent in a superhero movie. In a PG-13 superhero movie, excuse me. And I mean, that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, again, the third act I think was dumb. I love the JSA versus Black Adam. When they come together to fight this evil that came out of nowhere, I thought that was stupid. There's an after credit scene you gotta stick around for. That's probably the best part of this movie.
Stick around for that.
And yeah, man, I mean, the effects were great. All the actors they were great. Even the human actors in this movie, so not JSA, not Black Adam, the human actors who Black Adam is like who take him in and like basically show him the world, I guess. Like I said, the child I hate a lot. He's just annoying. But the woman who's like a professor, a professor, like she's good. She I don't really know what she thought she was going to do. She's not a fighter, so when she goes along with them, I don't really get what she thinks she's gonna do.
I guess use her because she's the one that brought him back. It's just using like that relationship, like because he won't hurt her.
Oh yeah. I guess Black Adam won't hurt her. He
and the kid.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean they were fine. Yeah. If again they were only there for exposition. But like again, she's the one who says the thing about like you guys aren't our heroes. He is our hero. You need to go away. Yeah. And like I just like the way she said that, it was just. She's a great actress, by the way. I forget. She was on Person of Interest. I forget her name. I think her first name is Sarah.
I enjoy it.
She was great, and I just
acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them are great. I'm just saying that her in particular, I feel like they should have given her a lot more time to show us what she was doing to try to save Kahndaq before Black Adam came. And also, again, so here's what I would have loved. First 30 minutes, Black Adam's origin, then he gets locked away. Next 30 minutes, they show the woman, and they show Kahndaq, and they show how Intergang is basically harassing them. Yeah. And it ends with her finding Black Adam like she did at she found him at like maybe the 25-minute mark. Again, they sped through this.
It's quick, yeah.
And again, and showing us these relationships, even for a little bit. Nothing is given time to breathe in this movie. Nothing at all. So show us this dude who betrays her, and you're like, oh man, you're messed up. Then I can feel at least a little bit something more. Then, the next 30 minutes, Black Adam versus JSA. And then if you have to do, your obligatory villain out of nowhere,
scene,
then you can do that.
Villain fight.
Yeah, man. And
every movie.
Yeah. You got this movie. I think was just like maybe 2 hours and 1 minute. If you got yourself a good 2 hour, 15-minute movie there, and again, the ideas are there.
Right.
And I guess that is why I am so surprised, because seeing those ideas there, I didn't even expect that much. I literally expected The Rock to just be like, the hierarchy in the DC origin or DC universe is about to change. I kill people, I know you don't. Yeah. And I thought he was just going to be brooding, beating up people the whole movie. Yeah. And then we'd get our villain that's just there and the movie would end. But the inclusion of the JSA, the inclusion of the Kahndaq strife, showing his origin and his origin is actually very interesting. Showing all of that, it actually made me appreciate this movie, man.
So when did they drop that animated joint that they did for the beginning of the Super Bowl?
Duh, that was when we first started this channel, October 2020.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, bro. What's that about to say? Happy anniversary, man. Oh, that's 2 years. Oh, wow.
2
yeah,
years,
it's crazy.
Yo. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it landed right.
Didn't even think about that, man.
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm done. That's it. I mean, so I guess TLDR, from my perspective, it's better than what you think it's going to be, but it is what you think it's going to be. So
I think, I'll tell my likes and dislikes, but personally, I really think this is going to do well. And this whole little joke, it's going to save DC. I don't necessarily think it's going to save DC, but we are now getting the opportunity to see what they can do again. Because I feel like these last few movies...
What was the last DC movie? Seriously. Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
I think it was.
And we
love that.
Love that, but that was not your average.
Yeah, and it wasn't even in theaters, unfortunately.
Which is crazy.
And just real quick, with your thing about it doing well, it's odd. I hope it does well, because I want the Rock's movie to do well, but... So I hope it makes a lot of money... But I hope he also sees the criticisms, because you can't think you can do this again and get away with it. That's the thing. So it's not the worst DC movie, but it could be better.
Yeah, so far it's been a nice C+ average that I'm seeing. IGN has been giving everybody 5s out of 10s. I don't know. I have no idea who's over there right now, but literally every movie's coming out is getting a 5 out of 10. I guess the way I'm going with it is I already know my score, but I'll tell you what I loved, because I did love some stuff. The Cyclone's action sequences were so just like,
oh, her wind, yeah.
that. I was like, yo, how the hell did they do this? Like, this is cool because it's like, it's her, but then her powers are her, like it's an extension of her.
Yeah.
Like that idea, like I like that. That's just from just a conceptual side. Like somebody really was like, what does this look like?
Exactly. I see the artist team.
Yeah, like yeah, like that was really dope. The details in everyone's costumes, my God.
Yeah, man. Black Adam's costume,
like, and
the credits costume. Yeah.
And that joint was fire. But yeah, it was. Go see it because it's way better than what you think it's going to be, and the fact that like that preview was not traditionally where they ruin the movie for you, because there is a lot of deep things that you can speculate, as Sam was saying, because it's not fleshed out.
Yeah,
but you can speculate. And you're the one in the film sitting in that chair that has to be like, yo, I feel for you.
Like, yeah. It's interesting. It's like, I went in not expecting a lot.
Right.
I went in thinking I knew everything. And it's like, the movie is good to me because it did what I knew it was going to do. Mm-hmm. And I still enjoyed it so much more than I thought I should have.
Right.
And that doesn't happen.
Right.
Like and you told me not to mention it. When we saw Morbius, I knew exactly what that movie was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I knew exactly what Venom: Let There Be Carnage was going to be.
I wanted that to be great.
I mean, I knew exactly what it was going to be. I mean, like Thor: Love and Thunder disappointed me because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But this,
it was over the top.
Yeah. And just kind of like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, I thought that was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Because they didn't give you a lot. This one, they show you a lot in the previews.
Yeah.
And even so, you're still like, this is really cool. And I think the thing neither of us mentioned, it's actually quite funny.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
I was literally about to get to that.
Adam Smasher makes jokes. Again, they didn't land for me. But Black Adam, Hawkman, oh my gosh, Dr. Fate, they just had me laughing, yo.
Pierce Brosnan just talking.
He had fun in this movie, you could tell.
He enjoyed this you could tell that I wasn't looking at that actor.
Right.
I was looking at Dr. Fate just being like, yo, I know what the hell's going to happen. I've seen so much in this 100 years that I've been around.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'm cooling. I'm going to go back and forth with this god in front of me. And it's funny. And then Hawkman's like, I'm going to go back and forth with a god. That's funny. You can't.
Yeah. Like, he legit keeps trying to fight him.
Yes.
And it's not working.
It's like, it's not working. That was hilarious.
Yeah, man.
They have, their third fight?
Yeah. And it's just...
Their third fight is comedy.
Yes,
because
right.
You're just like, all right. I know he's like, you can get hurt because, but you're getting thrown. It was like Loki and Hulk type.
Yeah.
But I'm giving y'all too much.
Even just their comedic timing on stuff when it's like, not like they're not saying jokes, but it's just, they're trying to be funny. Like when he talks to, like when Adam Smasher does something stupid and Hawkman just looks at him. Yes. Oh, that's right. It's so funny, man.
I don't know how many takes that took, but it was like, you looking at one of your cousins or your dad when you do something wrong, and it's just you just look over and you're like, he's looking at you.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I think we're gonna give our scores now. But just Jovi thinks you should go watch it. I want this movie to do well. I wish there were a way where like you could, like, the weekend was okay, and then during the week it makes a lot of money. Like, I don't want it to set records so they think it's great.
Oh, yeah.
But
and then just
I don't want it to not make money, because it was actually very enjoyable. So I think you should see it eventually in theaters.
I feel like automatically it's going to make a decent amount of money. But like you're saying, there's levels.
Yeah,
there's breaking box office, doing well, and then recently bombing.
Yeah. So I don't want it to bomb. Yeah. I really hope it doesn't bomb. I hope it just does does well.
Does well. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm going to give this movie a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. I'm in agreement because of that one point I didn't get to make.
Oh, go ahead, make it.
You got 15 minutes of slow character building, and then the rest of the movie. That took a whole point off for me. It's so fast.
Wait, who got slow character building?
That's like there was that 15 when they're like just talking about him and like
in the beginning.
Yeah, that's 15 minutes if that.
And then the rest it goes
it's
so
like,
fast.
Bow, bow, bow. It's fun. It's funny. The action is amazing. But then it's like when we got to the end, I was just like,
yo, I learned so much so fast. It's like I know so much about all you people. And that's the problem I had. So, going back, we're Man of Steel, that movie sped through Clark Kent to get to Superman.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can forgive this, because in the next one, I bet they're going to flesh out the character. And they never did
They never did.
So, I just, like...
They have to with
they
whatever
have to
film
with this.
he's next.
If the next one is just like this one, I'm going to give that joint a 0. I'm so serious.
But
I'm going to be
then,
pissed.
and then here's the whole problem with that is, if the next one is not similar to this one, this is when people get mad. And they're like, oh, it's not as fast paced. It's not this. It
doesn't need to be as fast paced.
It doesn't have this much action.
No, it can have the action. Just give us a good story.
We know all the stories that they can throw Black Adam into.
Yeah, man.
Which is
and give us a JSA movie. Give us a prequel movie.
Be fire.
I'm watching that. Aldous Hodge. That's my Hawk, man. That's my Hawk, man.
Right. So I agree with the 3.5. Was that the speed of the movie dropped down to a 4 for me.
Yeah.
And then there's the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Bad guy took a whole half point off.
He seriously, he was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, and we literally just watched the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. So your small couch review score is a 3.5 out of 5. This was a long one, which means, either we hated it or we had a lot to say about it because we liked it. And this one we actually ended up liking.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. Like we said, we think you should go watch it. Yeah. I think eventually. But if you can go see it this weekend, go ahead, go see it. Black Adam, what did you think about it? Where does it rank in the DC movie hierarchy? Let us know. Right down there in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching us talk for all this time. And until next time, we out.
Deuces.
12 sharpshooters stinging, 11 eyebrows raising, 10 spines a busting, 9 noggins knocking, 8 kicks a kicking, 7 punches punching.